the pros of this neighborhood is that you will find much better size, wider lots and better layouts compared to some of the newer neighborhoods. Who is it great for? I would say it's going to be ideal for buyers who, want more value in real estate and space over the modern finish, especially if you're looking for a detached home under $750 in a good neighborhood on a good lot. This could be a great neighborhood that's worth considering. If you're thinking about buying your first home in Kitchener and your budget is around $750K, then this video will really help you. I'm going to walk you through the top Kitchener neighborhoods, or let me say this, the only Kitchener neighborhoods you should consider in this price range, because most other areas are A, out of your budget or simply not ideal for first-time homebuyer. I'll break down exactly what makes these neighborhoods a smarter choice and why most of my first-time buyer clients and young families end up in one of them. Stay tuned and let's get right in. And just in case if this is your first time to the channel and you're wondering who am I, my name is Detached. I am a local real estate agent serving Kitchener and surrounding towns, and I get calls, texts, emails from people just like you every single week looking to relocate in and around Kitchener, Waterloo, and I absolutely love helping them. So whether you are thinking of moving in 9 days or 9 months, be sure to reach out. You can call me, text me, email me, or even schedule a Zoom call. All my contact info is right below in the description. I'll be more than happy to help you and family make a smooth move in and around Kitchener, Waterloo. So let's begin with two great neighborhoods on the west end of Kitchener. And I feel like these are the neighborhoods that I would say arguably one of the top neighborhoods you can find within this price range. And that's gonna be Huron South as well as the Trussler West. Now, the reason I use them and couple them together is because they're gonna be very much similar in terms of the overall dynamics of these neighborhoods. Now, what these neighborhoods have to offer in terms of real estate, you'll find a handful of freehold and, townhomes, 2-story as well as the 3-story layouts. You'll find some semis in Huron South, and you will find a range and a variety of detached homes in both these neighborhoods. Now, who is it ideal for? You can say it is ideal for first-time home buyers who are looking for those modern layouts in the homes as well as the newer finishes. That's who I would say it is going to be ideal for, because most of the homes you will find in these neighborhoods are going to be built within last somewhere between 5 to 15 years. That's what you will find. There is an older patch in Huron South where you will find somewhat dated construction built in the early 2000s, say after 2005 and present day. In terms of the overall, growth in the neighborhood, I mean, Huron Park, you are basically, living in either of this neighborhood, you're going to be steps away from the, RBJ Schlegel Park, which is a massive park. There is in fact an indoor rec center that's coming up, anytime soon. And at the same time, there is a new Longos Plaza that's literally open in the heart of that neighborhood. So there's a lot of retail development that's going on, as well as the community development. There is in fact a new school that's coming up in this neighborhood as well. So you will find that newer feel to both these neighborhoods. But these are the two great neighborhoods I strongly recommend for any buyers looking for under $750. Now, next up, I have another couple great neighborhoods still on the west end of Kitchener, but rather closer to Highway 8. These are not going to be as new as Huron South. So we are talking about Laurentian West as well as the Country Hills West. Now, similar to the other two neighborhoods we talked about, these two are going to be very much similar in terms of the overall dynamics and the feel of the neighborhood. So I'll use them together. But what you will find here is, you will not find as new of a construction, but you will find a good range of, townhomes, semis, and a variety of detached, similar to the other two neighborhoods. The main differentiating factor is that Laurentian West and Country Hills West, both these neighborhoods are somewhat dated neighborhoods. They are not brand new. So you will find most of the real estate here built in the late 90s and early 2000s. You will arguably not find much of a construction after, say, 2010 in either of those neighborhoods. So having said that, you will find if you were to drive in these neighborhoods, you will find more of a mature feel. But at the same time, the pros of this neighborhood is that you will find much better size, wider lots and better layouts compared to some of the newer neighborhoods and subdivisions where it's hard these days to find those bigger lots and bigger layouts. Now also keep in mind the fact that these two neighborhoods are rather more established. You do have very close proximity to many retail, Sunrise Shopping Plaza, which is pretty much at the doorstep. You have immediate access to Highway 8, as well as if you have to take public transit or if you want to enjoy the nature, the neighborhood is already well established. So you will have all of it pretty much in a close proximity to where you're living. Now, another great neighborhood I have on my list here is going to be very close to Laurentian West, which is going to be Williamsburg. Now, what you'll find Williamsburg to be a very charming community that's well established with plenty of retails, the Williamsburg Shopping Plaza with Sobeys. There's a bunch of retail, pretty much getting you everything you need on a day-to-day basis right at your doorstep. In terms of real estate options in Williamsburg, you will find a good mix of townhomes and semis built basically between 2000 and 2010. So that's gonna be what you will be finding. Now, one great thing about Williamsburg that draws a lot of buyers and families is the fact that it falls in a very good school district. The Williamsburg Public School has a ranking consistently ranked over 8, and I have had buyers who move in this neighborhood because to get access to that school for their kids. It's an elementary school with a very good rating. Overall, it's a very good family-friendly neighborhood, very quiet and suburban, yet everything is pretty much at your doorstep. Now let's move from the west end of Kitchener to explore some areas on the east side of Kitchener. And for that, I do have a couple of great neighborhoods, or you could say they are basically one neighborhood with another community built in within that neighborhood, and that's going to be Idlewood and Lackner Woods. Now, this both can be used interchangeably. You will see that people here living in Kitchener will use that overlapping each other all the time. Overall, what you will find in terms of real estate in both these neighborhoods are mostly newer built detached and semis with some townhome options as well. What people like is it's kind of tucked away from the city noise, so you'll find a little bit more suburban nature and vibe if you were to drive into this neighborhood. You'll also keep in mind very close to the, some parts of the Grand River and the walking trails around it. So, that's what draws a lot of people, especially if you are a nature lover who likes being out and about in the green and around the, hiking trails. Then I feel like this is a great pocket, a great neighborhood to consider living in. And just like Williamsburg, it does draw a lot of young families with school-going kids, also primarily because of there is a reputable school that falls in the boundary of this neighborhood. Now, keep in mind, within the 750, it is gonna be a little bit of a tough cookie to crack in this neighborhood, but what you will mostly find is a range of townhomes and semis, not as many of detached home options you will find under 750. You'll probably have to cross that 800,000 to get into the detached home options within this neighborhood. But overall, very charming and highly sought after neighborhood if you were to ask me on the rather east end of Kitchener. Now let's talk about another neighborhood that's not going to be as new or refined as some of the neighborhoods we talked about, but equally desirable if you were to ask me, and that's going to be the Pioneer Park and the Brigadoon. We're not talking about the Dune South. We are talking about the Pioneer Park and the Brigadoon, which are very close to the Dune South if you were to look it up on map. But both these neighborhoods, I would say, are going to be very much ideal for commuters, because from both these neighborhoods, you pretty much have almost immediate access to the Highway 401 without having to drive a lot. Overall, you will find homes that are not as new. The majority of the homes you will find are going to be a good mix. There is some new development that happen in this neighborhood, but majority of the homes you will find are a range of detached and semis with some townhomes, and they basically are built mostly in the 80s and 90s. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you are rather looking for something that's built within last 20 to 30 years, you will not find a lot of options in these neighborhoods. Now, next up, I do want to talk about a great, mature and established neighborhood on the west end of Kitchener, and that's going to be Forest Heights. Now, you are very close to the Highway 8, so you have immediate access to the highway, and the fact that it is an established community and established neighborhood, you have very close proximity to all the shopping. Sunrise Plaza, the Boardwalk Shopping Center, Highway 8 is close proximity. So it's very much, in a close proximity to all the great amenities. You will find majority of the real estate being built between the 70s and 90s. Not much after that. That's the only thing you have to keep in mind. But I do feel like, Forest Heights does draw a lot of families, primarily because you get a really good lot size, and some bungalows, they may not give you those modern finishes. Most of the homes in this neighborhood will not have those modern layouts and finishes. But for someone who is okay with that, or willing to kind of move up in a good neighborhood and then eventually make those cosmetic changes and renovations themselves, I feel like this could be a great option, especially if you're looking for a detached home under 750 in a good neighborhood on a good lot. This could be a great neighborhood that's worth considering. And the last neighborhood I have on my list is gonna be a neighborhood that's very much centrally located, and that's gonna be Stanley Park. Now, similar to Forest Heights, Stanley Park is also a rather established neighborhood. So you will find mature tree lines and the larger lots with a range of detached homes. And you'll find like good entry-level detached under 750 and some semi-detached homes. There's not gonna be any, or most of the homes are gonna be either semi or detached. You're not gonna find any townhomes in most of this neighborhood. But you know how I mentioned it's very much centrally located. So you're very close to the Fairview Park Mall. You have great access to the LRT system that runs along. Just keep in mind the renter to owner ratio in this neighborhood is somewhat skewed. It's balanced, so you have to go street by street. And some patches of the neighborhood has high renter ratio versus other parts have mostly owner occupied homes. But overall, a great neighborhood for someone looking for a long-term value and a rather established neighborhood in the center of the city. Now, I hope that did give you a really clear picture about your options when it comes to the neighborhoods under 750 that are equally desirable to live in Kushner. And if you are really serious about making a move and really want to find that absolute gem of a neighborhood that balances your lifestyle and your budget, then feel free to reach out. All my contact info is right below in the description. You can call, text, email, or even schedule a Zoom call. I'll be more than happy to sit down with you and find out what could those neighborhoods look like for you and the family. And hey, nonetheless, if you're still exploring and you want to know about every single neighborhood that we have right here in Kushner, then I've just recently put out the neighborhood ranking series on my channel, which you can check out right here. So that will give you a really clear idea about what each and every single neighborhood of Kushner has to offer. And if you're still around and you really thought you got some value out of this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and tap on that bell so YouTube knows I'm doing somewhat good job here in delivering the value. Until next time, I will continue to show you guys around the town.